Sweet.
All right.
All right, recording. All right, cool. This is Art Collection. Back on the podcast again. We've got Jais, we've got Gift, and myself, Armour, in the house. How are you guys?
Boom. I'm tired. No, I'm joking. I'm good, man. I'm good. Getting my this week I've actually been getting myself ready for radio. You know, something's coming soon.
Yeah.
I had to, Kiki. I'll be on there probably next week. So I've kind of been just like tidying up my show, sending it over to them, and yeah, man, just working, quarantining, as they say, quarantining,
yeah.
quarantining.
Yeah,
what
it's
you saying,
quite same from me too. Yeah, quite same from me too. Just working, that is actual work, and then just working on music, man. Just been producing a lot recently. So yeah, so work on my production and trying to put out something for next month. So as I always do, every month new music. So yeah, that's
I love that that like fucking kung fu shit was like fucking sick. That beat. Oh man, I love
man,
that shit.
The 56 bars one. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah,
that was sick.
everyone loved that, man.
I don't like any of the music you make, bro. I'll be honest.
Yeah, of course. That's
trash,
fine. That's fine. You can't make music for everybody, man. Some people are gonna like it.
Some people like me have sense. No, I'm joking though. That guy,
That's all right. Jai's actually ghostwrites all my tunes.
Now your tunes too are hard.
Oh,
man.
collection exclusive.
No, I like it when you do. I like the Arthur and Reed stuff. That when I listen to you with that like alter ego, whatever you want to call it. Like I really enjoy that stuff just because of like the hip hop. Like I know it has that hip hop type sound going on. Yeah, so that's like me.
If you
that's
do know,
it's
like a private persona. Like no one's meant to know about that. You know.
No. People know. It's got to the stage. Spoiler alert. I'm gonna put like spoiler alert as the name of the podcast.
No, that's it though.
Damn.
That like
imagine I just wrote
project,
money like that.
That whole project though is just like I don't know. Like I feel like because I spent like so long trying to figure out like what to do with all these different like productions and stuff because I make like so many beats in a week. I was just like, oh, I need to like do something with hip hop. I've got like my house alias as well. So I was just like, I'm just gonna start putting out beats online. Yeah. Like I don't know. I just feel like, especially with like Bandcamp and stuff these days, you can just throw up stuff on there, and with like all the good shit they've been doing, even in like lockdown with like Bandcamp days and all that, it's just been like such a good way to put out music. Because like the Arthur E stuff is basically inspired by like basically like Timberland and like Neptunes and like all that shit that I was listening to when I was like, I don't know, when I was like 7 or 8 years old. And then recently with like all the like Griselda and like that kind of sounds coming in. I think actually no, you DM'd me about that shit.
Yeah.
I hate this rap, bro.
Why do you hate it, bro? It's so good, man. It's
so
good.
Bro. It's just not me.
Nah, it's so sick.
Nah, it's so sick, man. Like the things, like the way they rap, like their lyricism is just amazing. I love their beat selection just because of the samples they choose. Nah, for me, they're my favorite group right now. Griselda, man. My favorite group.
So Jai's like 6'9".
yeah. That's you, innit? 6'9".
To be fair though, randomly, one album I've been listening to is The Art of Drug Dealing. Is it Art of Drug Dealing by RMR?
Oh yeah, that's great. That's good. Yeah.
That tape there, bro. I've never listened to gospel trap in my life, bro. That is gospel trap. The guy just singing trap. To be fair, I can't. That's been getting me through work still. Oh, bro. My team. What's the first topic on the agenda? That's how you say it in Spanish. Agenda.
So I'm now leading the podcast, which is a lot of pressure, guys. So this is my first time doing it. Might be a little bit, a bit sloppy. But so basically, so I mean, as a lot of people are aware, especially in music and DJing and radio or producers, there's definitely been a lot that has kind of come to light recently with people in the industry, press, people, DJs, having sort of taken part in sexual assault or approaching minors, which has been something that's come out quite a lot recently. I've seen a list of like MCs that have been like basically called out for it. And I guess like today's whole thing is just going to be kind of talking about that whole subject. It's just about sexual harassment and assault, especially in music. And in terms of like how I guess we approach this is just kind of going through it as like a more of a conversation, not to like call specific people out or anything like that. It's just, I guess,
just call out the
as
behavior.
men,
That's all we're doing.
yeah. And it's calling out the behavior as men as well. We did kind of reach out and see if any girls would like to join, but we kind of understand that maybe it is, I mean, it is a sensitive topic. So, you know, as long as we're having that conversation, it's going to be important. So, so I guess like the first question, and I'm really going by Jai's notes, and I think it's actually one of the most important questions of all is, do we actually believe that this problem exists? So do we believe that at club nights, at radio stations, I don't know, at events, whatever, after parties, do we actually believe that this is a problem that occurs a lot? And what do you think can actually be done to resolve it?
I think personally, I think is a big problem. I think as a man, you don't really tend to see these things. Do you know what I mean? Because you know it doesn't happen to you. A lot of stuff happens in a dark nightclub, so you don't see it. And a lot of women, similar to like, I don't want to do like anything away from, you know, like sexual harassment, sexual assault, but similar to like with how black people face like microaggressions, you won't really understand it unless you're going through it. So a lot of women, I think, they go through things that we don't even realize this, you know, is sexual harassment. You know what I'm saying? And I think an issue with us as well is a lot of people tend to how can I say, not disagree but discredit. You know what I'm saying? Like if a girl says that something happened, it's immediately, well, she might have done something about it. Well, how do you know she's trying to ruin his life? And it's kind of bad that as a system, as a society, the first thing we do is, you know, protect the rapist. And that's just basically because, you know, men, we do live in, is it patriarchal? I've been reading, I don't know if you can tell.
But yeah, patriarchy, patriarchal,
that way. Yeah, so it's like, you know, everything leads inside of the men, like leads like to the side of men. So a lot of times it's hard because, you know, like for women to come forward, the amount of times they can go forward, and when you don't go forward and it's a lovely, sweet process. You go forward and, you know, you get questioned and you get, you know, vilified, and a lot of people just accuse you of being, you know. So I think a lot of women do get gaslit to think that things are normal. You know, if someone touches you, it just is what it is. If someone, you know, is inappropriate with you, it just is what it is. But I think that's where we as men need to kind of like stand there and like stop it. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like, you know, as men be like, we don't stand for that. I think never on friendship circle, then you start checking each other. Then you start
No,
checking.
I agree.
That's just
I agree.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
what's your thoughts?
Definitely, I have similar thoughts like to what Jad said, man. Like in regards to this thing, yes, it's definitely an issue. Like, and I feel like it is something that's being downplayed. I think it is very, very serious, and I think it's as bad as what racism is. If you ask me, to be honest, I think it's as bad to that level, because when you think about it, the way it's so normalized, like people actually like not asking for consent, just going up, grabbing girls, doing whatever, saying this to girls, discrediting them. Like it's just seen as normal, and really and truly, it's not right. It's actually a problem because one thing I think as men we need to think about is that when we see these things, we never put our own family involved in it. So I'm talking about our moms, our sisters, female cousins, female friends that we have, female people that we work with. Like if that happened to a female that you knew, you're not just going to disregard it, are you? You're going to go mad. You're going to go crazy. You're going to go beat someone up. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? You're going to go find out what the situation is. So I feel like the fact that as men, we tend to discredit, I think is very embarrassing, especially when women come out to say, hey, look, this happened to me. I've been either abused, I've been raped, etc. And men just like, oh, yeah.
I'll say one thing just before that. I think like a lot of men need to start, like every women you know in your life, go and ask them about what they face on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly.
And a lot of you will be very surprised.
Oh, you'll be shocked.
Very surprised.
Just literally have a sit down, have a conversation, and just be like, just tell me. I've done it with a lot of the women I know. Just like kind of sat down, just be like, what do you actually on a day-to-day thing, like, or on a club night, what actually happened? And man, I think we've got a lot of work to do, if I'm being honest. But yeah,
definitely, because if you think like, if you actually like deep it, like how many women can really say with their chest? Talk about everyone can really come with their chest and be like, I've never been in a situation where maybe a man sexually harassed me or done something in that line, to them. It's very difficult. You're barely going to come out with a woman that can really say with her chest and be like, yeah, like something that has never happened to me. So that shows that there is clearly a massive issue. And one of the things where I genuinely feel it really lies in is with consent, man. A lot of men, we think we know what consent is, but honestly, we still don't have a clue what consent is. And I feel like that's where we need to start educating young men growing up, like, about this. Like, consent, we think it's just, oh yeah, do you want to do this, yes or no? But we don't realize there's so many minute details into it. Like, for example, like, one of the things that came to our mind is you're at a club, there's a girl dancing, or you want to catch a wine. What do most men normally do? You just rock up and start dancing behind her. But did you actually ask? Yeah, did you actually ask her, like, do you want to dance? No, you just literally started rubbing yourself on a woman, and you never asked her, like, do you want to have that dance? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, yeah.
And one thing I've noticed about that was when we were talking about it, I kind of thought, like, but like, not like this is how it is, but like there's no other way of doing it. Like, this is just kind of a part of our culture. And I was like, actually, it's not something that I think can
That's
run
a problem.
anymore. I think it should be as easy. Just go up to girl, oh, like, do you want to dance? Yes or no? She says yes, bro. You can't, like, probably even have a better dance because you know that you're both into it. But I think it's a case where we need to break it down to a level where we're just asking it black and white now. Just asking it black and white. They say no, and people need to remember as well. I'm going on a tangent. What do you call it? Consent can be revoked at any time. Man, I need to realize that. Just because you want to be
Thank you.
At the start doesn't mean you want to continue in it. So a lot of man to remember that. But what are you saying, though, Marco? What are you saying?
So basically, I was gonna ask you guys a question because this is something that I've been debating recently, and this actually. So when I started like doing research for like a recent music project, and I was watching like a lot of, I guess, like early 2000s R&B videos, and this sort of feeling came over me, and after the sort of stuff I read recently, and I was kind of really surprised at the stuff that would happen in those videos, especially like the way that like the guy would like pull the girl into him in the club and like all this stuff and whatever. Do you think that, because I think we're all around the same age, right? And we grew up watching a lot of those videos and stuff. We always saw them around. We saw these artists and look up to them and whatever. Do you think that being brought up with that pop culture has influenced how some men approach girls in the club, especially when you might have spent like your upbringing like listening to like R&B or whatever, and you've watched those videos and you think, oh, that's the way that I approach women, but like obviously you're not really thinking about it, but then you might get to later in life and think, well, actually that's the way I should be acting. I should be that guy who turns up to a club and does that. Like, do you think that like influences it at all? I don't know.
Personally, yeah, I definitely think so. This is basically like the point I'm trying to like bring up, because everything I'm trying to basically say ahead today is the fact that this has become so normalized that even like we don't realize it, like we actually don't deep it. So even some of these cases where people are doing these things where they're not asking for consent, or they thought they did, or they're like maybe they've done something wrong to women. A lot of people, they're actually good people that don't realize what they've done is wrong. So they actually don't deep it. But if you actually sit down and think and deep it, like, bro, it's so wrong. Like even sometimes, for example, you could ask a girl, you could ask for consent. She could say yes. But really, actually, why did she say yes? Did she say yes because she actually wanted to go ahead with it, or did she say yes because you pressured her into saying yes? Do you get what I'm trying to say? That's not really pressuring a girl to say yes is still not consent. But a lot of men don't understand that. They think, oh yeah, like I was chasing the girl. She said no the first time. I kept just asking her. I kept on pushing her. She then said yes. That was consent. No, bro. That is not consent. Come on. She had no choice, but you're scaring her into saying yes.
But it's a respect thing as well. We don't. I think a lot of men don't respect women. Like they don't respect all women. Like man, them have. Like how can I say? We've all like seen girls that would be like quote unquote is a slag or like other like derogatory terms just because of kind of just kind of how that where your mind is at. Especially when you're in school. You know what I mean? You look at certain girls as this as that, and those kind of negative portrayals of women that like brings down your value of them on a day-to-day level. Because if you don't respect women, at the end of the day, you won't care if you violate them. You'll be like, well, who cares? Do you know what I'm saying? But if we get to a point where we respect women, where if you violate them, you actually feel, you know what I'm saying, you feel a type of way. You don't feel good with yourself. I think that's the kind of direction we need to go to. Because I think a lot of men, they realize, but they don't care. I'll be honest. They don't
definitely.
care. They just don't care. And I think we need to start checking. We need to start checking each other, because the only way it can work is if we start as men just start checking each other, like, yo, G, like, what are you doing over there? Like, I just saw that, like, don't do that kind of thing. And then we'll start moving forward. Do you know what I mean? But it's a techie one. It's a techie,
yeah.
but it's straightforward as well.
To go into like more into what you were saying, because I know your kind of thing was kind of leading like the way like music videos are done and how like we're watching those things and we're not realizing it's wrong. Like, and that's a reason why I think like those videos, like people don't see a problem with it, because like I said, as human beings, especially from a man perspective, we don't understand what consent is. So we just think doing that is normal. So that's why an artist will feel, oh, maybe if I do this in my music video where I just grab the girl's hand, I just pull her and stuff, and she starts dancing with me, like you think it's right, but really and truly, it's not right. Just because you see something or something is normalized, don't mean it's right. I mean, at some point, it was normal for them to treat black people anyhow. Like, say you sit over there, lynch them, whatever, but it didn't make it right. You get what I'm trying to say? So I do understand some people just need to be awakened. They're basically sleeping, and they literally just need to wake up and see, like, do you know what? Yeah, this is actually not right, and we need to change our ways. And once you start educating people about this, then you'll see the change also in music videos, where potentially music videos will maybe have men now consented to women before they do stuff like that, if that makes sense. That's how I think anyway.
No, that makes sense. No, I actually think that kind of leads quite well into the next question, really. Because I mean,
Sorry, really quickly. We've got this thing called segue on our collection. So whenever someone does a fantastic segue, we just get clapped. So what? Fantastic segue. Brilliant. Oh, you see that segue? Bro, what's that thing that you call?
You know what? I've been practicing that.
I saw that, bro. I saw that. I said, well done. See,
I've actually been practicing.
No, I'm gonna say nervous.
No, you know what? Shout out Denzel, because Denzel has like this. He's like the segue king. He knows.
Oh, he's Mr. Segue. You be saying one thing here, yeah, segue over there. You're like, bro, I just stop it. I just start clapping.
Nah, I've been with Denzel twice now, innit? So I kind of,
you've been recording.
Yeah, and I've watched some. I've been around. So
big up Denzel every time.
I'm like Segway Junior now. So the next question is, do we think that some people abuse their power within the industry to get away with things?
Yes.
I say yes. 100%.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
200%, 1,000,000%.
It's disgusting.
It's gross.
Bro,
so like,
it's disgusting.
I was actually going to say, like, so not even in music as well, there's like, oh man, it's so fucked up. Like this, basically like this comedian got called out, called like Chris D'Elia. I don't know if you guys follow him at all. But he's like quite a popular comedian like in the US and stuff. He has like a podcast and all this. And he's just recently had a kid. And he basically like got called out for like sending messages to like minors and stuff. But then like he's tried to clear it up recently. And bear in mind, he clearly used his platform and his power and the fact that he's got young fans to like coerce these fans into like meeting him and whatever. But then he like released like these emails he'd been saying to fans, and then he was like asking them for pictures before he asked their age, but he clearly knew their age from like their Instagram bio. It's like, yeah, it's so seedy. But he know, and this is what I mean about these people know that because they have such a big platform, they think, well, I've got this very close circle of friends. I've got this massive following online. I'm invincible. And the fact is, you're not really. Like, there's got to be a tipping point where everyone goes, nah, enough's enough. Like, I'm obviously not to mention names, but I think the recent stuff that has come out is disgusting because yeah, go on.
Real quick. Yeah, we're not going to say anyone's names on this just because we don't want to shine light on them disgusting people. But again, we'll call out the behaviors, but not names, innit?
Yeah. To me, when it's a big comedian like Chris D'Elia, I don't give a fuck. But when it's like people that we know, like
you
whatever.
You'll know.
But like, I just think it's like, it's just so like, I don't know, fucked up that, you know, you have someone that has basically been on the same lineup as you, or you've come into contact with at like events. And from my own experience, like I've seen it happen before, but it's always been something that I guess you see and then you never really like consider or think about again. But then this time it just felt very like close to home. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I definitely felt like seeing, especially like artists that are you know, are pretty much established and up and coming, and they are making the name for themselves, they suddenly, that like switch is flicked and they're gone. Like, how do you guys feel about people really just, I mean, that's the thing, is like they literally get clout from like 1,000 SoundCloud plays, and they think that they can do that. Like, I don't know what you guys think about that.
I think a lot of them, like I'm not, how can I say, like, I think with a lot of them, they have a lot of, they have a lot of fans, a lot of clout, because a lot of people will just, you know, gravitate towards you because, you know, you've got like X amount of songs, or you're doing X, Y, and Z. But they do definitely abuse their power, and I think the issue is that they abuse their power, and people will know. Like, it won't be a secret thing. Do you know what I mean? So, baby, 2 secs. Mum, no, he's not here. Mum just came to the room. I'll continue back to what I was saying, but I think with a lot of them, they use their clout and they use their clout and everything. And I think the issue is that we need to start, people that hear these things need to start checking these people. Do you know what I mean? But there would have been rumblings. I'm not going to say who, but there would have been rumblings about what my man did. Anyway, just like to summarize. I think we need to, when you start hearing these rumblings, take them a bit more seriously, because we're very, very quick to jump on people hearing that, oh, this person's a racist, that person's a racist. But we need to do the same thing. He's a sexual abuser. He's a sexual harasser. We don't want him anymore. Let's get him out the scene. Same energy. You can't just be, we can't just be like Black Lives Matter. But then this is happening, and we're just, yeah, well, it doesn't affect me, so I'm not going to talk about it. We all need to do, as men especially. If you see these things in the scene, bro, someone abusing their power, you're hearing about it, you need to check him. Don't book him no more. Make it know that that's not welcome in the scene anymore. If someone does that, don't book him. Don't put him on your show. Like, leave that alone. Don't cancel it when it's popular. Cancel it when you hear it. You need to cancel it. That's the truth. But from Mom, they're walking again. But yeah, take over.
Yeah. Now, similar. Yeah, basically, I'm iterating the same thing. I think you're pretty much spot on, because, like, man, when these things come up, people just literally ignore it. They just act like they don't know what's happening, and it's a massive issue. Such a massive issue. Like, for example, we can mention one name, R. Kelly. Like, look at his situation. Like,
oh man,
everyone that I'm not even around like that American scene or whatever, but even I knew from a young age that R. Kelly was a pedophile, and he was doing that to black women. Like, it was so obvious. Do you get what I'm trying to say? People knew this. So even if I knew this, that means that clearly other artists knew it. And people that do events, promoters, bookings, they knew R. Kelly was up to it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But it didn't take till it became a public thing until the documentary came out and he done the Gayle King interview and he got arrested. That's when everyone started disowning R. Kelly. Like, oh yeah, like, we don't condone what R. Kelly did. But I'm seeing artists that R. Kelly wrote a song for you at this time that we knew he was doing it. He featured on your music at the time he was doing it. Why are you now disowning him now? Like, why did you not do it when those rumblings were happening? Like, this guy went to court and they played the tape of him pissing on this girl and
it's mad.
Something happened. Like, that shows you how much of a problem it is. If you can go to court, I'll show you a video. This is what R. Kelly did to this minor, and and basically he can walk away innocent. Then, bro, there is a massive issue. And I know in R. Kelly's case, like, there's definitely race. I think race plays a massive part, because I feel like, personally anyway, the people he was doing that to were black women. I feel like if he had one white person in that case or whatever, then he would have been in jail a long time ago, if that makes sense. So yeah, man, people abuse their power, and like B just said, we need to just nip it in the bud once it's there. People need to start taking it extra seriously. Like, even if there's a little rumble, like, yeah, you can't let it slide. Can't let this slide no more. It's just too much.
I think that's the thing that I find so crazy about it, is like, I think that's a very good like way to, it's almost like a good comparison to make between an artist who was like established, had worldwide fans, worldwide recognition, was on probably all of our favorite songs when we were growing up, and you've got the difference between that person and a DJ who's from, I don't know, let's just say London somewhere, who's growing, who's getting radio play, playing sets. And what you end up doing, obviously I know that R. Kelly's case was very extreme. Obviously all cases are extreme. I'm not saying that any case is less extreme than others, but what R. Kelly did was fucked beyond belief. But it's funny how you end up categorizing them as the same. Like, there's no difference between that person doing things to girls in clubs and sexually assaulting them and thinking that that's okay, and then R. Kelly doing what he did for years, and then also people backing him while he was doing it.
Yeah,
Like people
People still
knew.
back him to this day.
exactly.
Still back him to this
People,
day.
yeah. Like even in the like with the fact that he's been arrested, and I don't know. I think he is in jail now, right?
Oh, he's finished. Yeah, under
Last I
the
heard,
jail. Yeah,
last I heard was it wasn't even just that. He also had something else added to that.
yeah.
Something
He
was
has
it with
quite a few
tax?
things.
Oh yeah, he
Ah.
had that guy has
The
problems. Yeah,
IRS always
so he's in
collects.
jail.
IRS always
Yeah,
collects. But,
he's in jail.
but I think
Or something else.
what we need to remember though is regardless of these, can you guys hear me all right, by the way? Because like one of my
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
can
can
hear
hear you. Yeah, quite good. Yeah.
I think the issue is we need to make it such a taboo. Like it is taboo, do you know what I mean? But it's not taboo in the same breath. We need to make it a thing like in the industry where you like you can't do that, do you know what I mean? And it's a shame that people can do it, get away with it, and people will try and defend. Like we even use R. Kelly for example. Like people to this day, they still protect him. Bill Cosby, same thing. They still
Yeah.
protect them just because of their art. Like at the end of the day, we disregard the art. The art is only made by the person
Harvey
himself. And that
Weinstein.
person hasn't got a good Harvey Weinstein. I mean, all these people. Even I was watching a documentary on Filthy Rich. Is on Netflix. It's about
Jeff
not Harvey,
Epstein, is it that one?
Jeff Epstein. Yeah, that one. That
Yeah.
shows how not how second class women are in the world sometimes. Like these young girls are saying what's going on, telling them, but because he's got money, it doesn't matter. And
Yeah.
we need to make it. I think we need to make it taboo. We need to make it a thing where, you know, if you see someone doing it, that's a mad. Like it stops the room. It stops the room.
Mm-hmm.
And until we get to that point, people are going to feel comfortable to do it because at the end of the day, they're not getting. They're barely look. For example, actually, like I said, we ain't going to mention. And there's a. Yeah, let me just move on.
So we'll bleep it out. We'll bleep it out. Don't worry.
Cool. Ex rapper that we bleeped out, for example, was talking to a 16-year-old girl, still not cancelled. Like they got was it 15, 14 or 15? He's still on.
Yeah.
Either or.
Still
Right.
cancelled. He just goes for a minute, comes back, drops a song, no one cares. Everyone's like, but he makes good music.
That's basically it. I swear,
Or better than
Boondocks.
that.
This is exactly what Boondocks did with R. Kelly. They Boondocks made a whole episode about look, this R. Kelly guy is a bloody rapist, a pedophile. This is what he is. And what did R. Kelly do in that episode? He dropped a song and everyone forgot about it, started dancing in the courtroom. That's basically it. And that's unfortunately that's how it is, man. And imagine girls going through this. Like imagine how it must affect their mental, how their relationship with men,
you're seeing your
people
abuser,
like
you're seeing your abuser
being
on
celebrated
on radio, like everywhere. He's the guy, he's the man. You know what I'm saying? And you have to see that. And I think as a mental toll, sometimes you don't realize what that does for people. A lot of people that's a lot. You're reliving it every time. And even for the artist that did the mad thing within the garage scene, for him, like the people that maybe that the female that he obviously did X, Y, and Z with, she probably even likes garage, so she's in the scene herself. She's having to see his face or hear his name all the time. I even read the statement. She said that she had anxiety every time she would see him, and that for me, that's wrong. You can't be doing that. That is so wrong. All for your 30 seconds of gratification, bro. Like, you know what I mean? These are people too. We need to do better. I think as men, like that's what the crux is. We need to do better. We need to see it and go mad. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like, this is, and it annoys me because I've seen it, turned a blind eye to it, but I've still seen it. That's how prevalent this thing is. This thing is not a joke. And I think sometimes we forget that. We think it is a small thing, but I think within the industry, until that things change, then it probably, I don't know. It frustrates me, the whole thing, to be honest.
Yeah. And it's also part of the reason why like women are scared to, when it happens to them, they're scared to speak up. Like they're scared to, because when they do, in fact, sometimes it ruins their life even more than if they just kept silent and they kept it to themselves. And that is so sad that stuff that happens to them and they can't do anything. Even when they go to the police, the police ask them, "Oh, what were you wearing? How did you do this? What did you say this?" It don't matter what she was wearing, what she looked, it don't matter about all of that, bro. As a man, you should be able to keep your junk in your pants. It don't matter what she's wearing. Like, bro, people say, oh, like they'll try, especially some people be like, oh, but she dressed in a popular stuff like that. Have you seen how people that used to dress back in Africa back in the day, they just have their breasts out, where men just going around raping them? But like, let's not be silly, man. Like, you need to know how to control yourself.
Women's bodies.
Yeah, we have, and then they start trying to say women should change this or do this about them. Nah, it don't change nothing. I don't know. or look at some of these countries like the Islam countries where women dress head to toe. They cover every part of their body, all the way to their fingernails. Yeah, you can only see their eyes. Men are looking at their eyes and still doing that to them. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. If you can, if that's not enough for you to see that it's a problem, then boy, honestly, you're just being ignorant. You're being ignorant.
Definitely.
So I mean, I don't even want to make a segue joke after that.
Yeah, this is serious.
Fucking hell.
It's serious.
Like
It's, man. Now,
because the thing is that's so fucked up about all of this as well is like I've seen so many cases, like even just reading, because in lockdown I guess you read the news more and more because you're constantly finding out the latest on COVID, the latest on what's going on in the US with Trump and all the bullshit that comes out of his mouth. You've got the protests and, you know, black people being murdered in the US every single day, some of it unreported, some of it reported. So there's like an overload of information in it. Yeah, that's it. So I kind of,
but
I think that was one of the things that I read recently was basically like a lot of girls that report rape cases or assault, and this happens a lot, and this is also the police's problem, is that they lose their phone for like 9 months because they just fall into a list and the cases never get resolved because the police hold on to the evidence for so long. The guy has probably moved on from that, doesn't remember anything, or acts like he doesn't remember anything, and the police go, "Oh, okay, yeah, he was drunk. That's it." Like, and that happens all the time, man.
Yeah, that's not enough.
It's crazy. I think that's why we need like, it has to be a culture change, man. Like, I think that, again, the same way we want the culture to change with black people, we need the culture change with like rape culture. People don't, is actually the truth. That is real. It's so ingrained in what we do, from the industry, out of the industry, like that women don't have the power. You know what I mean? Like, they just like, it's just like assaulted. Like, it's just it's ridiculous. Man just touching women because they feel like it. Oh, I was drunk. I literally don't understand it. And I think if men don't change that culture, at the end of the day, we'll just be going around in circles. You know, like we need to. I keep saying it, but we need to do better though. Like, I just think it's just frustrating to see man do that.
This is why men need to take responsibility, man. Like, to be honest, like the same thing about going back to, I know we keep on comparing it to racism, but I think it's very similar. Like, at the same time, we need black people, we need white people to stand up and be like, nah, this is like, we need white people to fight for us too and support us. So in the same way, we need men to support women, support your women, support your. This is not just for strangers. It's for your mom, your sister, your any woman you know in your life that you genuinely care about, that you love. This is to protect them, like, and it needs to change. And I'm not gonna lie, it's going to be so difficult because I think it's so difficult. It's even to the laws, like the laws protecting women and stuff, like, it's not there. Like, it's so difficult. So even, I know this was supposed to initially be about music, but at the end of the day, when you deep it, you have to look outside of it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's important. We can't disregard, like, but even because the thing is, what's funny is that music is a microcosm of what's happening in the world. So by talking about what's happening in the world, then you actually are understanding what's happening within the industry, and it's all about the power dynamic. And oh man, yeah. Sorry,
I was actually going to say that, like, just like off the back of what Giff was saying, like, I can safely say as a white male that what I've experienced in the industry is that other white male DJs are the ones who are the most closed off to gender equality and race equality. So what I mean by that is they're the first to be aggressive when it comes to women, and they're the first to never make any progress in their career, and they will never support black art or black artists, or they'll shy away from it, or they'll worry about saying the wrong thing. And it's like, it's so easy to use your platform the right way, and it's so easy to not attack women the way you do. But what I found it anyway is, like, even with the BLM stuff, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, all of these news stories that come out, there's so many people that are just quiet. and like you haven't had a peep out of them for such a long time, and it's like, why wouldn't you use this time to like educate yourself? And I know that we're kind of moving away from the subject, but it's definitely an important thing, and I think you covered it in the last episode. But I just think that, I mean, obviously this extends to all males of all, backgrounds, but I just genuinely find that white males seem to be the ones who don't quite understand how important it is that they use their platform responsibly. Because like, even for me, like when I said to, even though like probably not that many people saw it or whatever, that I was going to donate money on Bandcamp Day, I saw a lot of white artists not donate a penny.
I saw that.
Like they didn't donate a single penny that they got that Bandcamp Day. And I saw people make like $2,000.
Bro, I'll give you a funny story actually. I know we're digressing a bit. Gift knows this. So my uni like DJ society ran a fundraiser for Black Lives Matter without any black DJs on the roster. And for me, it's just
there you go.
You've literally missed the whole point. And they'll probably turn around and they'll probably be like, "Well, we didn't have any." I said, "The point is the point. The point is the point. Like you need to. That is where it starts. And similar to this, that's where you can't like. You need to try and understand what's going on. You can't just. For me, that kind of just looked like a shameless, like, oh, we've done something kind of thing. And it didn't really sit right with me. And I just think we need to all, if we're all we need to be more genuine about this. Don't just do this because it's in fashion. I mean, don't start calling out sexual harassment, for example, because it's in fashion. Do it because that's what you're doing now. Do you know what I'm saying? When you see it, you call it out. And I think I don't know. That just really annoyed me when I saw that actually. But yeah,
it's annoying, man. It's so annoying because I think this is the problem is.
I can definitely imagine. Yeah.
No, you go, Giff.
No, sorry. No, because at the same time, now it is, it is very frustrating, man, and it just shows you like how deep some of these issues are. Like like I know like what kind of it seems like this section is like we're calling out people to a degree.
We got to do it, man.
But I'm not gonna say any names, but just
you couldn't say names if you want to because your thing's freezing.
No, because I know me. If I want to, but I don't care. Like, I would say anyone's name. But like, true. I'm calling out black men because I know you mentioned about white men and what they do. Like, I don't want to get twisted like black men were just there, like sitting down, like innocently, not doing stuff like that. Sometimes I think we're even worse because as black people, we understand what it's like when we voice our opinion and we're not listened to. We're going through racism, etc. But when women, especially black women, come out and say, "Yo, like your brethren did this to me, blah blah blah. I'm going through this, blah blah blah." Black men too, that's a problem too. So us black men, we need to start doing better and start calling out people abusing women.
People love to jump to the defense of the rapist.
In our own culture now. Yeah, man. Like we need to do that because I've seen that too from black men disregarding it. When they see their favorite rapper, nah, man, it can't be. Nah, she has to be lying. Why must she be lying? Like, why can't we not believe her? Take her word for it. Like, do you get? Like, I heard someone say something that I would rather believe the woman and find out she's lying, the rapist, and find that he actually. When I saw that tweet, I was like, that's very true, very true. Did you catch what I said? So basically, the tweet was like, I would rather stand by the woman, who's calling out the rapist, and then find out she was lying. I'd rather stand by the woman who was raped, and find out she was lying, than stand by the accused and then find out that he actually raped, that he actually like abused her, or he was the rapist. Like I'd rather stand by the woman's side. When I see that there's proof, there's enough evidence she's lied. Cool, we know that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? We know that. But you go and supporting, you're just backing someone and you don't even know. And then it turns out all the evidence, everything comes up that he actually done it. Because you're just gonna look like.
It's because people. It's just because a lot of people, they watch like 1 or 2 cases of a woman, wrongfully accusing someone of that, and from that point it's we need evidence. We never know. She could be lying. She could be ruining his life.
Yeah, it's such an outlier, such a myth.
But what people need to realize, so if we're gonna really break this down, let's say I'm not even gonna give numbers. So you can have one person that falsely accuses. Then you can have, let's say, 10 or so more people that are actually been accused, that have gone to trial. X amount that have now, they've accused, but it hasn't gone to trial, and it's going to be the amount of people that don't even report what's going on. So we need to understand that we need to believe them straight. Same with racism. If you want people to, believe what we're saying first time, we can't turn around and then be like, oh, well, we need evidence, we need this, we need that. At the end of the day, we need to start believing them more. Because when we start believing them more, doing it now becomes a thing where you don't do that, you don't do them things, you don't do that. And that's when we start eradicating it. If we just keep doing what we're doing of, well, she needs evidence. How do you have evidence of that? Big man thing.
Exactly.
How do you have evidence of that? Really, this is not something that you can just, oh yeah, well, I've got a video of it. Doesn't make sense. So we need to actually be a bit more receptive to it and just kind of open our eyes a bit more, man. I think anyway, as men.
Yeah.
If I'm lying, call me out. I'm just saying as men, innit?
No, I agree for sure.
Nah, I'm with you.
So I guess the next question was, I guess that we kind of covered this already, but do we think that sexual harassment has actually been normalized? So, I mean, I guess we can focus first on the industry, but as like a society, do you think we've just normalized it? And what are the things that can be done, say like by promoters, by other DJs, by your circle of friends? What are things that can actually be done to resolve it?
I think it's definitely been. I think even something as small as hello.
Yes.
I can't hear.
Oh, we've lost Gift.
Yeah, we lost it. I think for me, something as small as something as small as that. Do you know when people move past girls in the club, they touch their waist and that, and like they grab like certain things? I think people think that's just a normal thing that you do. It's not. It's not. We need to literally take a step back and just, you know what I'm saying, you only touch a woman if she gives you like consent, and that's what we need to get back to. We can't just be like, oh, I just grabbed her back, I just grabbed this, I just grabbed that. I think that's where it has been normalized, especially in a lot of raves. People get waved and they do stuff and then they just go, well, I did it while I was drunk, so it doesn't matter. But I think we definitely need to, it is normalized, and that's where the problem starts, I think, especially in with music as well. In my humble opinion.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Sorry, this one works. All right, cool. Well, yeah, basically, yeah, definitely, it's normalized, man. Like even to the point where, like I mentioned, like I feel like with certain people, like certain men, like they genuinely have like good hearts, like they genuinely believe that what they're doing is not wrong. So they need to be educated and seen that as wrong. Like even I have to look at myself. Like when I hear these cases, like I have to look at myself and be like, have I and look at scenarios? Have I actually been good, or have I actually like fully gotten my consent? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because I'm not going to sit there and pretend like I'm one of the guys where when I go to dance for a girl, I've always been like, oh yeah, please can we dance or whatever. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Little stuff like that. So, and when this was all coming out and I started reading more, I started speaking more with like females and understanding it better, I started realizing like, raw, like there are even some scenarios that I was thinking, I didn't really deep it. But now that I'm hearing it, I'm like, do you know what? This is actually quite serious. Like, it's so serious. Even to the point where, bro, some man like will tell a girl like, oh, yeah, let's go like Netflix and chill and stuff like that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, bro, like, but that's not what you want to do though. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You don't want to do that. All you want to do is sleep with her. Do you get? But you're not putting your intentions out there. So you've not given her that right to consent. She comes to your yard. Now you guys are now actually watching something. Maybe she actually came there to watch a movie. Yeah, she came there. She's watching a movie. Now you're trying to now go second base. You're now putting pressure on this woman, but you've never fully gotten her consent. If you really want to do that, you should have just said from the beginning, like, yo, like, this is what I want to do, blah, 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 blah. I think the problem with men is that they feel like they can't be upfront with women and just be honest. They feel like they kind of have to like beat around the bush, lie, twist their words, whatever, to get to the end game.
Man, it doesn't mean you just go to girls and just be like, yo, man, I want to beat their thing. Like, that's not what you're saying, innit? That kind of thing. You need to just kind of make your intention. No, I just think respect.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a respect thing. I think it's actually just basically respect. If you respect someone, you're not going to violate them. You just respect it. I think anyway. It's that simple. What do you think, Marco? What are you thinking?
Yeah. So I definitely think respect is the first and foremost thing that needs to be done. Because I mean, if we're looking at the industry anyway, so if I'm looking at it from that side, there's definitely steps that people can take, but just as like men, I think like we've pretty much covered most of it anyway. It's calling out other people that you know are doing it. But the second thing is actually taking a look at yourself and also seeing if there's steps that you can take to have a better understanding of it. Because I think what you said, Giles, was quite powerful in that you need to have that conversation with a girl to completely understand the pressure they feel when they go out. Like the fact that they have to look at what they wear because they're worried that it's going to give off a certain message. Or if they text someone, how much they've got to think about what they say to a guy to not give them the wrong impression. So I think there's things that definitely can be done that will not only be great because you can then use that as an influence on other guys, but secondly, it means that you're going to create a safer environment in clubs. Because then what you have then is a knock-on effect where girls can actually go out on nights out and not feel like every 5 minutes a guy's going to hit on them because of what they're wearing or the way they look. They can just have a good time and they can go there with their friends or even go there on their own if they want to and not feel like they're going to be attacked. So I think there's definitely things that can be done. And I think even the people that put on these shows and book these DJs, it's not even about not booking the DJs and not booking the people that have done this, but it's also creating what I call and a lot of people call a safe space. So you have to enforce a policy which basically says you won't tolerate it in your club. Like I know people like to, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, nothing. You won't tolerate on your night. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. No, I was gonna, so basically, I feel like, obviously, like I've seen it on dance floors, and we even touched on it, like people like whining on each other and like all that kind of stuff, whatever. But if you're gonna have a policy in place, it just needs to be that if you see that behavior, and this is something that you can tell security as well, you can tell the promoters to do. It's a 1-point system. You do it once, you're out. That's it. Sorry. Yes, you've paid the ticket. Yes, you've come down. Thank you very much. But that's not the vibe we want. Yeah, that's it.
I don't ever want like a group of people to become a token and like you're, you know, oh, we got women here, like, oh, like, you know what I mean? And I think there's a lot of sick female DJs in it, like in London especially, like I could bear, they're probably like, you know, they kill it. And they should be on a lineup because they kill it. And also, I think we do need to, though, like, to be fair, I think you're right, we do need to, like, I think more female DJs need to come through as artists and whatnot, just so that at least people feel a bit more comfortable, at least see more people like them. But again, I just don't want it to be like I wouldn't want to be on a lineup because you need black people and then you just want to put me there as a, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I was thinking that, you know, I was actually thinking that the other day. I was like, are we going to have more lineups where people actually think they've got to meet like a quota?
That's what, that was so shit.
Because I can see it happening, you know. I can actually see it happening. Like I feel like so many promoters have been called out for it that I wonder if like people are going to feel like, well, obviously they kind of don't have to do it, but it's just thinking about it. That's the first step. Is I don't know if people. I mean, I care when I see an all-male lineup because I think there are so many sick female DJs that I would love to get on. That's the first and foremost thing. But I definitely think that there's going to be like that sort of issue. I mean, even you mentioned it with like the student union thing, like people just booking all white lineups. Like, I wonder if they're going to be like, well, okay, now we have to book a mix of people from like every gender and race.
You should be able to like realize it straight away. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Culture within you. Yeah, we're gonna have a Black Lives Matter mix-a-thon. Oh no! Oh, we forgot the black person. Fuck. Doesn't make sense.
Who can we call?
Who can we call?
Quick
Only
one.
we had someone that used to DJ there. No one. Nah, never been a black person. I said it. Big up the man there every time.
No, so much to do, man. But to be honest, I know conversations like this can be quite uncomfortable, and I even think like, well, before this video is put up, like we should put like maybe some like, you know, people put helplines, guidelines, or maybe some trigger warnings, because like I'm thinking about some of the words we're using, like
it's true.
You don't know how much trigger people, so I think something we should do. So it's very uncomfortable, but
It's that
Yeah,
deep.
it's that deep. It's that deep, man. It's very uncomfortable, but we need to have uncomfortable conversations, to make change. Without these conversations, if we just keep quiet and act like nothing's happening, then nothing can be done. So these are the conversations that people need to listen to. We need to speak out and voice their opinion. I'm hoping as time goes on, I'm glad that women are coming out. Like a lot of women,
come
they
out.
have the
Like,
conversations.
don't feel like worried, man. Speak your truth, because at the end of the day, like, I know I think it's sad to say it's hard, isn't it? And like,
It's hard.
I'll never attest that it's an easy thing to do. But like, just if you can, man, just come and speak your truth in it. Tell the world what's happening in it, because that's kind of you doing that. Yeah, you're a champion in it. In my eyes, you're a champion for doing that. And
No,
when
definitely.
you do that, you know what I'm saying, you're protecting people. It's not a duty if you don't feel comfortable enough. I always say, it's kind of your head, but if you do that, I think every person that ever comes out, for someone is just is a champion in it. And you are protecting other people from that person, because that person won't stop. That one time, it's not one time. Them man do it regularly. That's just the first time they got caught. That's all
There's
it is.
so many stories.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, if you're not if you don't feel comfortable by it, then no pressure too. Like, no pressure. If you feel like that's the best way for you, you don't want because with some cases there might be a limelight to, like, if it's a famous rapper or something, you don't want all that energy. You go to your office, people are looking at you like you're the one that said that about this person, or you don't want that. So I understand it. If you feel like that, it's up to you. Whenever you feel comfortable to come out and say it, if that's what you want to do, do it. If you think for yourself it's best not to, it's your life, don't do it.
Definitely. Got to do better, man. Them got to do better.
Yeah, because I think that's something that we'll definitely do with like this podcast, and even the last podcast that Jide's like hosted as well, is we'll definitely like post links so that people can actually like do the reading and get a better understanding. Because I think that's the thing. Even during this time, like this could not be a better time for people to actually reflect. Like, this is something that I think we've even spoken about, Jide's, about like art collection and stuff as well. Is like, we had so many good events and so many good like the podcast nights and going to record and everything, and it's like a good opportunity to like think about the future, but then also how can we make events, the platform, everything exciting for all people that actually want to embrace it. So doing things like having these conversations is going to lead to what we hope is going to be a nice like opening for when things do actually like go back to normal and stuff.
But I'll tell you one thing for free: we will never accept any of that at our collection night.
Never.
If I see any of that there, the man are there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mate, someone's actually getting fucked up. That's what I'm saying.
But someone's getting.
If that ever happens,
oh mate, bad.
No, it's not gonna happen, man. Definitely not gonna happen.
Bro, that's the energy. Exactly. That's the energy.
I'm gonna start going to the gym.
You're good on the buttons. You're good on the buttons. You mix all right. Leave at that, big man.
Yeah.
Nah,
but just remember the trigger warnings. Like before the video starts, we need to put, because I felt like I was throwing in some words that I'm just deep in it. Like could be that trigger warning. Like just to warn people.
Best for us to speak. That's the thing, though. Like I said, it's good that we're speaking in it, and then we get our vocabulary better, and we get like our knowledge better, so we can actually go out there and do what we got to do. But what were you gonna say, Marco?
No, so I guess like I think we've pretty much covered everything on the list, but I guess the final question is like, how do we actually move forward? So when things reopen, when we're back to normal, when clubs open, when bars open, we're meeting up again, we're going to Brixton Jam and Peckham Levels and stuff, like what are things that we can do in that situation? Because I know like, I mean, it's very easy, I guess, for us to say that we're going to be angry if we see it or fuck someone up or whatever, but like what are the steps we can actually take?
Let's go first. You go first?
I could. Okay, go ahead.
I think it's just we just gotta change the culture. I think like we need to, if you see it, I know it's basic, but you gotta start G-checking people and maybe even go straight to the security and just be like, yo, this person's acting mad. And I think as well we need to kind of show solidarity with women as well. So if you see something going on, and you feel comfortable enough to do that, mate, just just kind of stand with her and just be like, you're right, like you're right, like I'm saying, like nothing, like even have a word with someone. I'm not saying stepp in front of bullets and all of that, but just that little support sometimes, you know, does a lot for people. So I think, you know, kind of show your support, and even on a basic level, start reading about, you know, reading about it. Speak to women in your life. Ask them, what do you go through? What do you face? Like, and don't just argue with them. Sit there and just like listen to what they have to say. And once you do that, then you won't truly understand because you're not going through it. But what you do will start to open you up, and then when you start seeing things, you understand the dynamic in it. So I think my thing that I'll say I'll go away with this is find someone, a female in your life, and sit down and ask them. Someone of similar age, and ask them that you feel comfortable. Just ask them what did they go through, and then that will open your eyes a lot more to what's actually going on, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, kind of similar to what Jide said. I think the main thing, like as men, we have to listen. Like I said, have conversations with women around you. Listen, don't disregard it. The reason why some men might think that it's nothing, it's not real, it don't happen, etc., is because you're a man and it's not happening to you. The same way, like with racism, why people won't understand it because they're not black. It doesn't happen to them. So as a man, you should listen and don't disregard what they're saying. Take everything down and take it because what they're saying is actually true and it does happen. It does happen. Second thing, like I said, we need to change the way we think as a group of people and society, not just in the music industry, but just in the world, around the world. We need to change the way we think about the way we treat women. We even consent. Men actually do not understand what consent is. They think they know it. They think they've had lessons. They don't. One of my close female friends said to me, the only time men understand consent is when a gay man tries to move to them. And it's true. I couldn't stop laughing because it's so true. That's the only time they understand how a woman truly feels when, you know, because, you know, a gay man's coming to you. That's when they're not like, blah, 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 that's and that. That's the only time. So we need to actually teach consent down to the T, because even me, I thought that I understood what consent was. But after having like these conversations and reading and looking into more, I started realizing that there's so many situations where that I didn't really clock that, oh yeah, like consent is needed here. Do you get? I didn't really deep it, but now that I'm deep and I'm like, we don't really understand it to the T. So I feel like in schools, down to like sex education classes, etc., it needs to be taught properly. And I feel like at this point it's not. And you also have to reflect, look upon yourself and see how you can improve yourself. Because the only way you can advise people or try and improve people is if you can look at yourself and improve upon yourself and make yourself a better person. So this is not just telling people, you do this, you do that. But this is also for me to look at myself and take this and learn from it and see how I can be better to ensure that I am not encouraging anything that is negative towards women. And also to ensure that, of course, like you guys have mentioned, that we're creating a safe environment for women where they can feel comfortable to be themselves. They don't need to feel like they have to pretend or change their ways to accommodate themselves away from harm. So, yeah, those are the things that I could say from my side. And most of the other things, really, like I said, is down to society, culture change, and laws. That, I'm not going to lie, I don't really know how to change that 100% because it's very hard. So this is where you need politicians, lawyers, you need professors, psychologists, you need those type of people to then come in and give us ideas and ways as to how we can do it. And then we can follow their lead and go from there. But yeah.
No, I agree with everything. I think those 3 points really reflect educate yourself and use your voice. That's it. Like, it's 3 things that you can do as a man. I think that's like that if you follow those 3 steps, it's probably the most powerful thing you can do, and it will spread the right message to other men who will then follow suit. It's a bit like with BLM. It's, you know, you've got to take up accountability and you've got to educate yourself and understand the issues, and then when you are at, whether it's protest, donating, whatever, you have an understanding of the wider issue. And I think this is the thing you can also do with this subject is just do the reading, understand, like you've been saying, Jide, like speak to another female, understand where they're coming from. I think that's it. That's all you have to do.
Gang.
Cool.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's it, guys. I mean, if there's anything else you want to say to like sign off or anything like that, I don't know.
No, that's it, man.
I think serious topic. I say personally myself, I try to approach it the best I can, and I think, you know, I think as men, all we can do is approach it the best we can, but just genuinely, we need to do better. I think anyway. I think we need to do a lot better. And I've started a lot of self-reflecting. Same with Gift. Probably same with yourself, Marco. And yeah, bro, just think of it like it's like I don't know how to explain it, but just be better. You know what's right and what's wrong. Just be better. But yeah.
Yeah. Like Jad said, man. Oh man. No, like Jad said, yeah. Jad, what do you have going on? You have something going on. Plug it in.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was about to plug myself in it because I was signing off. My show Kiki's coming out.
What a segue! Oh my god!
Basically, I've got my show coming out. I've got a new genre in there actually. I've picked up G-Com, so that's kind of my new. I'm bare South African at the moment. Call me Blick Coffee.
It's lit.
Yeah, it's lit.
It's lit.
You got anything coming out, Armour? Anything coming out, Marco?
Yeah, so Bandcamp Days just around the corner.
This nigga always got me spending money.
I'm going to be releasing a 10-track Armour mixtape called Functional Tracks, which is going to be basically the format of the mixtape is tracks that fit into every set. So no matter what genre you're playing, you can basically just play an Armour track, and that's like the whole idea of it.
Do you have a trance song?
No.
So you like do you have an Afro bashment swing song?
No, I have a lot of 100
So that's
BPM
two
though.
genres you don't have. Bro, get this guy out of here, man. Get a producer. I just got that funky.
No, but you like all my tunes though.
Hey, see, everyone has their niche, man. That's what you have to realize. Sometimes you just have to stay in your lane.
People have to like
sometimes.
It. Niche, people have to like it.
I can longer. The longer I stick to like calling all my tunes club, then that's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, God. By the way, side note, there must be bare people that don't like me. Under every picture, I just say music's trash, bro. Every picture, I go.
Oh, you know what?
People thinking, who is this guy, bro?
It's so deep, because someone actually tweeted me saying, "Oh, don't listen to that guy. Like, I don't know what he's talking about." Like,
every single song is actually bad. Like I did it. I was like, one day I thought that's gonna think of a hit.
Yeah, I was literally like, that's my boy. Like, we joke about the fact that he writes my music and shit. Like, I literally just like. It's so funny.
Yeah. Anyway,
but to be honest, though, that's a good friend. That's a good person, man. They're checking for you.
Yeah,
you
trust
keep
me.
them in your corner, bro. For them to message you and be like, "Yo, like, forget that guy."
Don't
like,
worry about that guy.
Shit.
That's
a good person.
Monday, that's a good friend.
Hey, God.
I'm waiting to announce this. I'm waiting to announce this mixtape, and then Jais is the first to be like, "Yeah, this is shit. Like, don't put this out."
Oh my God, I'm finished, bro. I'm the Charlemagne of the UK.
Charlemagne of the UK.
We signing out.
Yeah,
right. Sick.
Good convo, guys. Take care.
Yes, bye.
Safe.
You got it recorded.